Well, it's exactly 1300 hours East African time, broadcasting live from Nile Avenue here in Uganda. Welcome to the Lunchtime News. My name is Wadulo Arnold, and without further ado, let's get straight into the bulletin. In our top story this afternoon, President Yoweri Kaguta Tibuhaburwa Museveni made a grand homecoming from his home country in Rwachitura, Chiruhura, to Kampala for the first time since the last week's polls. Museveni was on Saturday announced the winner of the hotly contested January 14th polls after garnering 58.6% of the votes against his closest rival and National Unity Platform's Robert Kyagulanyi, also known as Bobi Wine, who got 34.8% of the votes cast. From Rwachitura, President Museveni, the elect, made several stopovers to greet his supporters who were seen standing by the roadside along Kampala-Mbarara Highway. These were witnessed in Lyantonde, Chazanga, Lukaya, Kayabwe, Mpigi, Busega, and later the Constitutional Square in Kampala. His message was mainly thanking Ugandans for voting NRM and telling them to continue safeguarding themselves against the deadly COVID-19 pandemic. Now, several leaders from across the world, led by Russia's Vladimir Putin, have since congratulated Museveni upon re-election to lead Uganda for the fourth decade.
President Yoweri Museveni has had a triumphant entry in the capital, Kampala, for the first time since the 2021 presidential polls. Earlier from Rwachitura, President-elect Museveni made several stopovers along the Kampala-Mbarara Highway to greet his supporters who were seen standing by the roadside. Lyantonde was among the first to receive his appreciation for securing their future with the NRM. He cautioned them against COVID-19. Similar short stopovers were witnessed in Chazanga, Lukaya, Kayabwe and Mpigi, where NRM supporters led in welcoming their successful candidate in the just concluded presidential elections. Celebrations and excitement grew bigger as General Museveni made his way into Kampala city via Busega in Rubaga division. From here, crowds of excited supporters who had been waiting for him escorted his convoy all through to the Constitutional Square in the middle of the city, where thousands of other supporters had gathered to welcome him on his way to State House Nakasero. This was his last stopover after a nearly 5 hours drive from western Uganda. The self-drive and grand entry into Kampala is peddled at applauding his supporters for unanimously voting for him against other presidential candidates who were in the race. Museveni was last week re-elected for a 6th term with 58.6% of the vote, as his closest opponent, Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert, also known as Bobi Wine, garnered 34.8% of the vote. Museveni was on Saturday, the 16th of January 2021, announced by the chairman of the Electoral Commission of Uganda, Justice Simon Byabakama. He will, on May 12th, be sworn in for a new term in office.
Well, congratulations, Mr. Tibuhaburwa Museveni, upon your victory. Now, 15 constituencies missed out on the just concluded local council elections, while Mwenge North County did not vote for a member of parliament. According to the Electoral Commission, the affected constituencies and one district had irregularities with the particulars of the candidates.
The Electoral Commission has set the 20th of this month for the people of Mwenge North County to vote for their Member of Parliament. On 14th January this month, voting for the Member of Parliament for Mwenge North County was cancelled following the mismatch of particulars for the candidates.
What we had on 14th, we had parliamentary and presidential elections. One constituency did not vote, and that is Mwenge North County, which is found in Chenjeje district. We have set a polling date for that district, or for that constituency, to have the elections for direct elected member of parliament on the 25th of January 2021. So, out of all the constituencies, I think this is the only one where we had a challenge that could not permit polling to go on. The rest had their elections.
Also, in the just concluded local council elections, a total of 15 constituencies did not vote due to irregularities in the particulars of candidates.
Then we had local government councils elections. We had about 15 direct elected councillor positions where elections were not conducted across the country. We've also had of some other areas. The returning officers are yet to submit complete reports. The process is on because today was going through the tallying of results. But the district that didn't vote for chairperson is Chankwanzi district, and we're going to give them a new date for the elections.
The Electoral Commission is working on setting dates to have the affected constituencies vote for their councillors. But what caused the inconsistencies on the polling materials to go undetected until the voting day?
Time around, we had a very tight security for our polling materials. The polling materials that were printed and sealed at the factory are left intact up to the polling station level. So we do not have time in between, and we are not permitted, because of the security structure put in place, to open and cross-checking it. The proofreading is final, and perhaps if somewhere along the chain a mistake went unnoticed, that's why we're seeing some of these areas which are scattered and isolated. Yeah.
However, the Electoral Commission has described the whole voting process as peaceful and successful, rating it at 99%. Adiana Kute, UBC.
In other news this afternoon, the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development has been faulted for continuously denying budgetary allocation to the national broadcaster, that is Uganda Broadcasting Corporation. The chairperson, ICT Committee of Parliament, Paul Amoru, expresses concern over what he describes as deliberate attempt to derail national guidance. He was meeting agencies under the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance in preparation for the National Budget Framework Paper for the financial year 2021-2022.
National broadcasters across nations are fully maintained and funded by governments, Uganda being no exception.
This is a time of election. You have just concluded. Now petitions are coming in tomorrow. What are we going to say? Here there was no budget for the national broadcaster. Here we are.
Uganda Broadcasting Corporation is the only national broadcaster in the country and has over the years tried to educate, inform, entertain and mobilize the public. However, due to limited funding, the national broadcaster has not had a comfortable ride. Accusing fingers are pointed at Ministry of Finance.
But I want to put it on record that we didn't get any money apart from the supplementary that you managed to fight for, and they gave us 2 billion. And we're still struggling, and I hope that the committee can really interface with the powers that be, because how can Ministry of Finance arbitrarily just say they are giving us zero funding?
I'll be happy if you call the Minister of Finance here and myself here and we say, okay, a minute, can you produce a minute where we agreed from finance, because I have, why didn't you move ahead to release these funds to the national broadcast? And you see what they will tell you.
These are some of the issues that came up as the Parliamentary Committee of Information and Communications Technology met sector players under that docket. The committee chairperson also recognizes this challenge, calling on the Ministry of Finance to consider funding to the national broadcaster.
You have support of the Speaker. I know you have support of the President. Probably I know this matter also is before Cabinet. But within, I don't want to skin this thing up to the tail right now. But at the level of policy statement, we may be forced. We want both the political heads and the technical people within the ministry to tell us if they are committed to supporting the growth of UBC.
In doing so, the role of national guidance will be upheld in overcoming societal challenges and promoting peaceful coexistence.
It's possible UBC can be very profitable, but that is not the push for now. UBC should come back to its feet, and I think even when it generates money, they are not going to be profit driven. Otherwise, it loses the essence of it being a national broadcaster.
The issue of increased costs of internet was also raised, with responsible agencies committing to finding remedies to the challenge. State Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Peter Ogwang, seized the opportunity to explain the disabling of internet during the recent presidential and parliamentary elections.
We took a decision as a government to switch off internet for purposes of helping us manage our elections. And I want to commend the National Electoral Commission for carrying out one of the most peaceful, respectable elections of all times. Because why did this happen? We should also appreciate that as government, we are the consumers of the national intelligence. So when we take such a decision, it's on the national interest, it's on the national security.
The ICT Sector Committee meeting was just one of those taking place at Parliament to consider the National Budget Framework Paper for the financial year 2021-2022. Henry Okurut, UBC.
Now we cross over to Lango sub-region where the incumbent local government chairpersons have been voted out. New entrants who are the bosses, most of whom were former district councillors, have taken over from their bosses. Although Lango voted overwhelmingly for President Museveni, only 2 NRM candidates emerged victorious as district chairpersons out of the 10 positions within Lango sub-region. Let's take a look.
Who has obtained the largest number of votes, winner for university chairperson.
Lango sub-region joined the rest of the country on 20th January to decide for their local government leaders. The process was peaceful in all the 9 districts, including Lira City. Although all incumbents in the districts participated in the race, the results did not favor them. Frederick Odon of Doholo district lost to his former councillor James Oto, as well as Simon Peter Ngom of Amolatar, who lost to his vice Geoffrey Chen, and in Lira district UPC's Alex Orema Lot lost his seat to NRM's Richard Ukelum. Meanwhile, in Lira City, UPC's Mike Ogwang also lost to Sam Atul, an independent candidate.
One clear message that the journey for taking this city to the next level, together with everyone who lives in this city, starts today.
Political analyst Francis Ogema notes that there was a shift in the voting pattern in Lango sub-region when it came to local council elections.
Basing on the current trend of events of politics in Lango, where all the old-timers have been brought out, I think it attributes to only 2 things. One, their reluctancy. They were over-dependent on the party structures. Everybody thinks, yes, I'm for NRM, for UPC, so UPC will canvass. So even if they do nothing, they trade on the trademark of the political party. Because some other areas were strongholds, like if you check in Oyam district where an incumbent of UPC lost. But when you check there was only 1 NRM MP was there, that is Honorable Kelemala Machidogo, and the rest were UPC. Mioga has nothing. Compensation of the cattle, the president was live on TV saying he has secured 50 billion for Lango, Chula and Teso. Now, where is it? Where is the 50 billion line? They commissioned the road 1 month before the elections. Not even a single grader.
Police constables have staged a peaceful demonstration at the Hoima City Electoral Commission office in Chigunju, Cell Hoima East Division, demanding for their unpaid allowances for the presidential and local council elections. The SPCs, who were from the Hoima district and Hoima Oil City, stormed the commission office last evening demanding for their money for the 2 elections that have been so far conducted. Each constable is given a daily allowance of 40,000 shillings. And everyone is demanding 80,000 shillings for the elections held.
At the end of this month, we want our money.
tukatandika tukakora training batuiba batueneze mitware sa tukatuliba kufuna mitware inene obutugenzere komesa bakatuga mitware inene abaheru mitware 3 tibazituhereza tukere tugenze.
Well, more conflict brewing for the Electoral Commission, where people in Bukanga County, Isingiro District, want the Electoral Commission to organize fresh elections for the area Member of Parliament. The presidential and parliamentary elections left a number of people in Bukanga County nursing serious wounds on the bodies as they allegedly battled individuals who were rigging votes and stuffing ballot papers.
Bukanga County is yet another constituency in Isingiro District that had a very heated election. Fracas began last Wednesday night when every mobilizer for Dr. Mpeire Moses was allegedly picked one by one by security and held in police cells until voting was done.
enkovu zino we nazifunira ne wano ng'ayina emmundu naginsongamu naŋŋamba nti bw'oba toyagala kuva mu kalulu kano nze ŋŋenda kutulisa kane engatto we baninnya wano mu kifuba nga ngalamidde ne bambuuza lwaki tewagira kangwagi.
On polling day, majority of Mpeire's supporters were allegedly roughed up by security operatives as they tried to block them from rigging.
Nabagenda bankuba natuuka mu nsiko ne bateeka mu mazzi waba amazzi gabeera mu mabbali g'oluguudo gabeera mantokyalinga ne bagamba ojja kukubira kangwaje mpaka ng'ofudde.
Dr. Mpeire Moses was running against incumbent Honorable Stephen Kangwaje, but the latter turned up as winner with about 70% of the votes cast.
We have evidence of people being beaten in the broad daylight. We have evidence of people taking ballot papers in the broad daylight under the watch of security. That impunity is, we cannot tolerate it.
While Mpeire claims the election in Bukanga County was a sham, Kangwaje maintains it was free and fair.
I didn't see all those things happen. You know, we had a free and fair election. The exercise was clear, very clear, and people exercised their rights to choose their leaders without being harassed, without being tampered, without being, tortured.
During the NRM primaries, this same constituency had to repeat elections twice, but surprisingly, none of the two, Dr. Mpeire Moses and Stephen Kangwaje, was declared a winner. They were all directed to contest as independent candidates in the general election. After the NRM primaries, it is alleged that President Museveni invited the two to State House and urged them to keep peace in the county.
Actually, in 3 instances, he advised the Electoral Commission of NRM to conduct very fair elections in Bukanga. It never happened.
Major Charles Kabona, UPDF's 2nd Division spokesperson, says they have not received any complaint from Bukanga, but promised they will investigate these allegations to their logical conclusion.
In case of any issue concerning security in that area, the police commander could be also asked to explain. But for us as UPDF that was deployed in those areas, we have not received any complaint.
Kangwaje supporters said deploying security personnel helped curb the anticipated violence.
Bebasooka okutukuba naye bwe baatukuba ffe ne tugaana okukuba twagaana okukuba olw'okuba ffe twali twagala kalulu.
Locals claim this situation forced them to flee the polling stations, which aided vote rigging and staffing. They now demand the Electoral Commission to organize a rerun of the election and be supervised by impartial security personnel.
We anticipate and we expect and we pray that Electoral Commission presides over another fresh re-election rerun in Bukanga constituency.
The law is clear. There is a need for you to go to court, and it is court now to decide on how elections should be conducted. But you don't sit in your sitting room or in your compound, you say, no, I want the elections to be repeated.
The injured locals are also appealing to police and the UPDF to come to their rescue.
Well, the Electoral Commission needs to come out clean and tell us exactly where these videos are coming from, because more and more of them are circulating the internet. However, let's take a short break and we'll be back with more business news when we return.
Dial *185*6#, follow the prompts and make instant school fees payments. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field could not be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite show.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
Enjoy great value from Airtel with the all-new My Pakalast combo offers. We have customized especially for you the best deals on minutes, data, and SMS with our 3-in-1 My Pakalast combo to give you the best value as you stay in touch with friends and family. To activate My Pakalast voice combo, dial *100 *2 *1 hash to get started.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Fruitvale Fruit Juice. Our journey begins in orchards where some of the best fruits are grown. Fruitvale Fruit Juice is 100% natural with no added sugar filled with a wholesome goodness of vitamins and minerals that nourish your body and delight your taste buds. Enjoy real fruit juice in orange, tomato, apple, beetroot with mango, lemon mint with cucumber, mango, berry and tropical variants. Grab your Fruitvale 100% fruit juice today. Available in all leading supermarkets.
Welcome back. You're still watching the Lunchtime News here on UBC TV. We are also broadcasting on YouTube under the name tag UBC TV Uganda. Now, straight into more news. Makerere University lead researchers have urged government to consider human rights and ethics in a resolved response against COVID-19 pandemic. The researchers made this clarion call to government during a symposium held at the university under the theme Strengthening Public Health Responses to COVID-19 through Explicit of Human Rights and Ethics Consideration in Designing and Implementing Public Health Response in Uganda.
Makerere University researchers under the College of Humanitarians and Social Science in partnership with the Ministry of Health have urged government to consider the human rights and ethics in COVID-19 public health response. This follows a study after a research carried out between July to December 2020. According to the principal investigator, Dr. John Baruga Hari, human rights and ethics enables government to work hand in hand with the ordinary citizen to enforce the guidelines of the
controversy did not come from the fact that scientifically the measures that were being implemented were not scientifically proven to prevent the spread of the virus. So the controversy came from the fact that some of the measures implemented, they pushed people to the wall. They threatened people's livelihoods. They were not sensitive to people's rights. For example, people had problems accessing essential health services, including health emergencies. People like women who wanted maternity services, they could not get them.
Honorable Dr. Speciosa Wandira Kazimu called upon the Department of Makerere to work together regardless of respect to address public concerns.
And I believe that working together
Kaziwe further urged researchers to look for funding and opportunities elsewhere than waiting for the government funds and also work with policymakers to raise policies based on research.
Firstly, we are thinking about only benefiting from government resources, Makerere University resources, but ideally there are so many funders out there who are funding things, things to do with research, things to do with COVID. And so I think it's very important also to look at opportunities elsewhere for funding and to fix consideration. They go through data collection, they go through the writing of the report. Now this is the dissemination exercise. We look at writing policy briefs.
Juliet Chiguli says there is need for community engagement to understand the nature of the disease in relation to the general public.
Public health on board when it comes to talking about One Health related diseases like pandemics and especially COVID.
Public. The research was taken from Kampala Metropolitan, Wachiso, KCC in the general public with 133 participants in 6 months. Irene Faith Nantongo, reporting for UBC.
And that brings us to the end of our lunchtime bulletin, but allow me to put this in. Business Roundup will resume its usual broadcasting time, 8:30 p.m. on Saturdays and Mondays, 8:30 p.m. the repeat. My name is Wadulo Mark Arnold. Stay tuned for The Score with Ruben Chivirango.
Beauty Parlor and Spa, your beautification destination. We believe in suitable beauty. We offer pedicure and manicure, makeup, hairstyle,